Really positive start actually from TYT, really pushing straight into B and securing that quite early. Do have A in hand as well, and are getting those points rapidly. Defending A well is Benny Central, and he's just lingering between the 2 points while his teammates actually go for the 3 cap.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to be aggressive, and you know if you can get a 3 cap down, it's probably not going to be held for very, very long, because it's hard to distribute yourselves over this map, really. There's not too many places you can really sort of camp out that aren't known. Everyone tends to know where everyone sits on this one. And oh my god, Insomulus has just ripped him apart there. Swarm goes down. Insomulus is coming in with a second kill as well. Now he's going to jump himself onto C. Has support from his teammates, but they have lost B. Yeah,
great play from Insomulus. As you say, B has gone into the other team's possession, but now A and C has been secured, and TYT could set up a really nice spawn trap if they play this right.
Yeah, if they can play it right and they can hold it down well, they can lock them in here, but it's not an easy task. On board with Quicker Than You, jumping over the bridge and getting up to the stairs to watch Kitchen. Benny Central taking down Suede though. It's just a case of holding them in at the minute, and they're doing very well at that. Yeah,
Quicker Than You just poised there on the kitchen door. Let's just bring up the scoreboard and look at Benny Central there. 9 kills and 1 death. Let's see what is going on for him. Oh, as soon as we switch over to him, he does go down, but having a brilliant game there. And TYT really striding ahead against Defiance here.
Yeah, on board with Quicker Than You. Shots going down, does get the kill as well. 4-3 for him. And TYT definitely bringing the game to Logic here as Maki picks up his first kill of the game 2 minutes in. Not having a great game, needs to pick it up, does get shut down by Krads. Nice 2-piece by him with the MTAR. Looking for the third as well. Not going to quite pick it up, but he does eventually. Nice play by Krads.
Yeah, just sitting on these C stairs now, and again locking them down in B. Usually B is the heavily contested point, but TYT are playing this very cleverly. They're not actually pushing in for it, but they've got A and C.
Quicker Than You with a 3-piece.
So well defended, and Quicker Than You there, just dominating the kill feed, taking out 3. Let's see if he can capitalize on this.
Yeah, he's just camping himself outside of B here. This is the classic strategy we generally see on this map. But you know, it all takes one little breakout, a couple of kills, and then it changes all around. The current lead is around 21 points. So there you go, at 2.5 minutes just gone on that clock. And it does seem as if TYT are in the lead by quite a significant amount. Quicker Than You does get taken out. Nelly picked up the 2-piece though. Benny Central coming in and cleaning up nicely. It is currently not captured by anyone at the moment, and Krads is going to jump on that.
Yeah, let's see if Krads can actually take it here as we get on board with him. And you could see Quicker Than You there, he was torn as to what to do. He didn't know whether to push for B or go and reclaim the neutral flag of A. Eventually, it didn't go in his favour. Krads, though, moving out into Kitchen, and they're actually going for the B cap now.
Yeah, and Krads is there to try and protect his teammate who's jumping onto B now. We're expecting them to come from this left-hand side corridor. It does seem as if TYT are going to get a hold of B. They do so now. They're trying to push out through the middle and the bridge, try and get some sort of control over C, because you can't necessarily lock them in, but you can cause a lot of pressure. Yeah, and the rotation that I'm seeing from TYT is actually really impressive here. You could see Krads didn't even go for the B flag, but just made sure that his teammate was covered, moves straight onto C, does neutralize it, which is just going to annoy that team, annoy the team that they're going up against, Team Defiance. On board with Benny Central now. It did have the remnant in hand, but on board with Krads. You know, they're just really patrolling around the map at the moment, trying to get some sort of control again. They do seem to be able to capture on B. Now shot's going to go down. The Crypto is going to take out Krads in the centre. Ball with Benny Central at the minute. They are actually losing A as well, so he's got some work to do. That was a nice kill. It does get taken down by Maki eventually, though. And it does seem as if A has been captured as well. So looking at the score, though, it's pretty one-sided at the moment. 24-point lead for TYT.
Krads going down there. Quicker Than You now advancing to this middle map area and just holding on to B and C again. And this is quite interesting actually, because at the very start of this game we did see TYT actually pushing for the 3 cap, but about a minute into it they were quite happy to just sit on 2. Yeah, I think they're sort of getting their advantage and sort of thought, right, okay, let's just build on this slowly now. There's no need to go crazy. And you know, it's a smart idea. I mean, it's nice to build your lead quite quickly, but if you build a quick sharp lead, 10 points, and then sort of think to yourself, right, okay, we don't even really need to push the 3 cap anymore. If we can hold this 2 cap for the rest of the game, we're going to have a pretty decent lead going in the second half. That's exactly what they're going to have, and it is around 32 points. Make that 33 points. It's going to be about 34 by the end. Oh, might even be more actually. 35 now. So that's going to be a big gap. In the end, it is 35 points. Yeah, TYT really did storm ahead with that. And in the grand scheme of things, that is a lot of points to recapture. It's pretty much a 3 cap for a minute, with that being 36 points, which you don't see all that often on Domination. And you've got to take into consider the fact as well that TYT did seem to be the stronger thing. So, as it currently stands on this Domination, things aren't looking too great for Defiance, but they are not out of this yet.
No, I mean, if you look at that, Suede going 5 and 18, 6 and 17 from Swarm. Benny Central, though, 23 and 7. The kid just went off there. Well played by him. But Defiance, they need to step it up big style.
Yeah, I think that was just a case of being completely outslayed. The problem was they did have that B flag Defiance, but they were just trapped in. They tried to breach out, but every single alleyway or pathway that they could take was covered by TYT. You had it locked down. We are going to watch Defiance, though, for the second side and see if they have any answer to this lead.
For me, I don't think their answer is going to be big enough for 36 points. You know, you come out there, 36 points is a lot.
Yeah, and TYT, I get the impression they're one of these teams that will realise they're 35 points ahead, and they'll be happy to just get a draw on this second side. They won't try and push for it. They won't get greedy and try and get more points. They'll just make sure that they win.
Yeah, well, here we go. TYT are probably just going to hold this down, but let's see what Defiance can do otherwise as we get into the game now.
And it is going to be Defiance Swarm that we start off with. We can see him default just poised, ready to go for that A flag. And I'm assuming he's going to make the push there straight away. They have a lot of work to do. As I say, a 3-cap could be greatly beneficial to them. If they could hold a 3-cap for a minute, they'll be right back into this game and taking a lead.
Oh, he's not even capturing that. He needs to get himself in that position because now he's under threat. If somebody jumps around that corner, they may be able to stop them even getting a point on the board. They do eventually take A, but that's going to push them back for B as well. Team YouTube, or TYT as I'm supposed to be calling them now, are inside B, and they have captured it quite easily. Yeah,
and that's just bad news for Defiance because they really needed to be taking this early lead. They cannot afford to be going further and further behind, but it's exactly what's happening. I mean, just bringing up the scoreboard once more, you can see straight off the bat here.
He's Central again, 3 and 1 now, so great play by him.
Yeah, he's really standing out in this domination. I mean, we haven't really managed to see too much of TYT. I know they competed the previous weekend, didn't advance all that far, but they've really done some damage this one-day cup.
Yeah, and that's sort of an indication of how the leagues are probably going to go, unfortunately. I mean, you know, as I said, no offense to the teams this week, but, you know, it is basically the teams that just couldn't get past the top 8 last week that are going to qualify. So, you know, other teams might have sort of just thought, well, we'll just go for an easy job next week, you know, and try and just get through, which some of them may have done, but, you know, at the end of the day, the only reason they're competing this week is generally because they didn't get through last week.
All right, well, let's see what is going on for Mackie now, pushing out from the bar. They are 2 flags down, and TYT once again regaining this setup where they hold that A and C flag and pin them in at B. Obviously been working on strategies here, and as we say, edging away from the YouTube side of things, really getting involved in the competitive scene, which is always great to see.
Yeah, and you know, they did actually attend I-Series and did relatively decent, actually, by the sounds of things. Well, they did. I was there.
Yeah.
Definitely come to one of their games. Eventually, they did get shut down, but I think it was infused in the end. But yeah, on board now with Swarm. Current point difference is 13.
So adding that to the 35 is going to be...
was it? Oh, no, it was 35. No,
I think that's my calculations, just some rough notes working stuff out. But yeah, I mean, this lead is just getting bigger and bigger, and there's just less and less time on the clock. Defiance pretty much have to 3-cap if they want to stand a chance of taking this domination.
Yeah, it's 13-point difference now, 36 points per minute if you hold the 3-cap, and that's a clean 3-cap as well. No sort of the enemy just sort of putting the flag down. I mean, it's unlikely to happen now.
Yeah, and
Suede trying to do something here, but you know, Benny Central quicker than you and Crads, all doing great work.
Just bringing up the scoreboard once more again. Insomulus actually going 7-4 there as well, almost double positive. Quicker than you, though, really standing out this game alongside the 12 and 6 of Benny Central. Quicker than you, 11-2.
Yeah, Corrupt just going 1 and 9 there. He does have 3 captures to his name, and so does who's that? Swarm 2 and 10 though. You know, they just don't have the slaying game down. They may be able to bring something back in the S&D, but really, TYT are doing work here. That's good work by Suede, though, just defending this flag from Insomulus and Benny Central there quicker than you, picking him a kill. Does get shut down by Mackie, though. On board with Suede now, and they need to get that other flag. It's pretty much curtains now. Yeah,
and this is what I was saying, the way that I thought TYT would start playing this game. Sure, they are 2 flags down at the moment, but they're well aware that if they just hold on to the C flag for the rest of the game, then they will win it. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not just sat back camping on it. They are trying to breach out somewhat, but they're very conscious of the fact that they don't want to overextend and potentially get 3 captures. That could be very costly.
Yeah, you don't want to really push out too much. You've already won the game. You don't want to go crazy. Like, guys, we need to get such and such, because if you do that, you can all get shut down. Then get 3 captain. It would be a risk, but they're currently about 12 points behind at the moment, Defiance, but of course with that 35-point deficit as well, that's 47 points, and it is impossible. So that's going to be the first map to go to TYT.
Yep, and as we say, we know they've got a lot of supporters back home as they breach into the competitive world. I mean, I do know that the likes of Faircrowds, they have been competing, you know, on websites such as Game Battles for quite some time, but this is really the first time that we've seen them getting into the heavy competitive scene and really going up against some of the best teams in the world, quite literally. But it's nice to see that Defiance are not giving up without a fight. They are still continuing this and fighting to the death just to try and reduce that overall score.
Yeah, Swarm just trying to get some kills there, but let's have a look at the scoreboard at the end here. Let's see who's doing well again. Quicker than you, 20 and 4 with 5 captures. 18 and 9 for Benny Central, not as good as he did last round, but still pretty impressive. 21 and 5 quicker than you now. He's on an absolute tear. Playing very, very well. Final 25 seconds is just a formality as the first map does go to TYT. Do we know what the second map's going to be? Because we haven't really known what the maps have been all day.
We'll soon find out.
Yeah, we will find out.
But yeah, I mean, just looking at those kills, that's 3 to 18. That is, I'm going to be honest, it's pretty shocking there. When, you know, Defiance have reached this stage of the competition by winning games. They've not. This isn't their first game. They've done well to get to this point where they're actually potentially ready to qualify for leagues, but they're getting shut down. Very, very. I'm trying to find the right word that's not too insulting, but to put it quite literally, they are just getting destroyed here by TYT.
Smashed.
Yeah, that's literally what's happening here. That was a massive win for TYT. The points on the actual scoreboard, whilst noticeable, weren't massive. It wasn't like a 100-point difference for the Domination.
But look at the killers.
Well, this is the thing. They played for the win. They didn't play to actually make the biggest lead possible. They played it safe and secure, made sure that they were locking down the areas they need to, and that's why they've got such high kill-death ratios on TYT.
There's minus 16 and minus 13 kill-to-death ratios there. I mean,
3 kills over the course of a Domination game is
it isn't great. I mean,
yeah,
you know, you can't. If you're gonna want to advance on in the rounds, I mean, it's easy for me to say. You know, obviously TYT are playing quite well, but you need to be putting more kills down than that in 5 minutes of Domination. I don't want to slight the guys at all, but you know, you really do need to be stepping up your game if you want to get into the leagues. Want to win those $1 million or the $1 million.
A good share of it, definitely.
Yeah, definitely a massive share of it. But yeah, we're going to go to a very, very quick break. We will be back in just a second for map number 2.
Hello and welcome back to the Gfinity Studios, where we are guiding you through the second UK and Ireland day of the European qualifiers for the Call of Duty World Championships. We are currently watching TYT going up against Defiance, and we've seen quite a convincing win there on the Domination.
Search and Destroy for it is going to be the next map as well. TYT looking for the win on that one. I'm just going to adjust my mic. There you go.
So TYT, no, it's okay. TYT currently 1-0 up in this best of 5 series, and as you say, Tony, Freight, Search and Destroy is going to be the next map. So as per usual, we shall be watching the attacking side as we go across both of these teams. Currently still needing to set up their classes and just get ready for this game. So let's talk about what we actually saw in that first game between TYT and Defiance, because the way TYT played it, they didn't push for the 3 cap. It looked like they were doing that at the very start, but they just held to, and they play for the win, not to destroy the other team, so to speak.
Yeah, well, they did really.
But they eventually did do that.
You know, they pretty much dominated the game. Not necessarily what we expected. You know, coming into this is for top 8, and this is the final chance for people now. So they really need to turn it on. TYT coming in here, considering they've already played a few games, made it look pretty convincing, pretty well played, looked pretty comfortable the whole game. Maybe starting this next match up now, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, and I would say
I like this as an S&D map as well. You see a lot of long range, a lot of close range. It can be one of them ones where people rush or sit back for the sort of little push. You know what I mean? It can be either way, and you can be sneaky, try to go on the ground. Will somebody be watching it? You don't know. Might even see a sniper as well.
Well, this is it. I mean, this map, it's brilliant for the snipers. You usually see the thermal attachment on there as well, because the smoke screens will go down quite early on as the big pushes towards A are made. So we will start off watching Team Defiance to begin with. TYT obviously looking very, very strong on the Domination. Very objective-based team, I would say. So it's going to be interesting to see how Defiance fare up on the Search and Destroy.
Yeah, well, let's see what they can do, because they need to step it up from what they did in the last round. We're just going to jump into the game now. There you go. On board with Swid with the MTOS straight off.
Here we go. Oh, under heavy artillery fire there as the frag grenades do connect with him, and he does sustain damage, just keeping his distance. But whilst he may not have gone down, TYT have really driven Defiance back. They've not been able to cross that midway point on the map.
Yeah, on board with Swid now. And with this one, you really need to get some sort of control early on, especially if you're attacking, because the defense are set up. The bombs are set so far back from the attack that the defense can set up on them quite nicely, but A is the one that people tend to rush up on.
Yeah.
And it's probably easier to get the bomb down. You have to be careful up top though, because Kraz is going to be there, but Benny Central is going to get the kill. Swid answers back, taking out Kraz. Shots going down from Swarm, does take out quicker than you through the wall. So now that is going to be, is that 3 members down actually from Team TYT.
Yeah, it looks like we are in a 2 versus 2 situation. The bomb is down next to the A-bomb site, and Swarm is just poised looking at that top red area as his teammate does fall to Insomnolus. He is all alone, does manage to pick up 1 kill, so it needs 1 versus 1, but that is now going to go to TYT. First round in their favour.
Yep, TYT asserting their dominance once again, although not exactly an easy round. Yeah, he was quite weak there, so you only need to put 1 bullet into him with the Remington.
Benny Central again, final kill cam there, and he's really made his mark for me. I mean, when I actually looked at the TYT squad, I kind of always figured that Fearkrads was maybe the standout player in my opinion, but Benny Central in this series has certainly proved himself.
Yeah, I think that's mostly because Krads tends to be the most socially popular one in terms of the team. This is as far as I'm aware from a competitive point of view. He seems to be the one that streams it all, etc. So, but at the same time, you know, the rest of the team are definitely pulling their weight quicker than you and Benny Central for me being the top 2. But I've casted over this team a couple of times over Ghosts, and then Somulus has went off, Krads has went off. They seem a pretty well balanced team, but on board with Quicker Than You now. They have 3 members of their team remaining. Yeah,
Quicker Than You, a little bit more urgency than we saw from Defiance, actually pushing up a little bit earlier on, and you can see Quicker Than You very hesitant to actually poke up on top of that train. He has got there now, and Fearkrads with the snipe there against Corrupt is going to mean that it is 2 versus 3. Things looking good once again for TYT to take this round.
And that's the last member of Defiance left alive. Let's see if we can jump on board with him.
There he is.
MTAR in hand, just waiting on the player pushing forward. But to be honest, TYT do not necessarily need to push any further than they already are. They are just going to wait 1 kill. Nelly made the second as well, does get taken down. That's going to be 2-0.
And this is exactly what I was saying about TYT, a very clever team. They've obviously been practicing these maps and been scrimming quite heavily, because they all could have just charged for that kill and could have found themselves in a tricky situation, because Suede knew exactly where they were, but instead they held back, went for the plant, and then they forced his hand basically. They forced him to come out and reveal himself.
So now 2-0, an attack and defense down for TYT.
There we go.
And Defiance now need to win the attacking round. Of course, if they win the attacking round, hold down the defense, it's back to 2-2, of course. Easier said than done.
Yeah, and I've got to say, just from casting over this map particularly, it does seem like the attacks tend to be won more often than the defenses. Now, I don't know if that's a change in play style just because of the type of game it is or the map, but teams tend to be better on the attack on this map.
Yeah, and it's something we're seeing quite trending so far through today, isn't it? I don't know what it's like in terms of the best teams in Europe, but we'll see what happens, of course, in the next coming weeks where the leagues are on, and Corrupt just not spotting anybody there does get taken down. With Suede now.
Well, Suede pushing out of bottom red now, finding himself all alone, running through the middle of the map, and he is up against one. It is him versus Benny Central. Benny Central on 5 kills and only 1 death, following a very strong previous round here. Here we go.
He'll be looking to make that 6-1, and I imagine he's in a good position to watch both bomb sites. Let's jump on board with him as the bomb is going down. Benny Central, spraying through the wall now.
Let's just watch this back. Did his foot poke through? How did he know he was going to be there? Now, this is a team that has been practicing. I mean, you know, it's a point where you can kind of tell he's going to be through that wall, but Benny Central had learnt that point. That isn't just a random guess.
It isn't a random guess, but how many seconds were left on the clock?
Yeah, I know. So that's very clever play, and this is really impressive actually from TYT. And these are a real dark horse for me, I've got to say. Yeah,
and now we're on board. I'm not too sure. It's disappeared.
There we go. Quicker than you.
Yeah, going on board with Quicker Than You. See what he can do with the Remington here. Mackie does get the first kill on the Crads.
Yeah, and, you know, Defiance really do need to be winning this round because otherwise it's going to be 4-0 in TYT's favour, and that's going to be too much of a climb for these guys. Let's have a look and see what is going to be going on for Quicker Than You. Just on top of this train. Got to be careful that there's no one top red. I think he's read the situation well because no one seems to be making a push on him, and they don't know he is there. Bringing up the scoreboard now, we can see it is 2 versus 2. Benny Central Quicker Than You. Oh no, it is just Quicker Than You, all left alive on his own.
Just went down, so Quicker Than You was the last one live. He gets taken down, Defiance to get the first round of the S&D.
All right, so Defiance putting up a bit of a fight here, and they're going to need to win a few rounds back-to-back here, because if they just keep exchanging rounds and trading with TYT, then they are going to find themselves 2-0 down in this best-of-5 series against what I've got to say is quite comfortably a better objective-based team.
Well, let's jump on board with the attacking team once again, and let's see what Defiance can do to try and get some momentum behind this, because they need this map, really. I think if it goes to Blitz, it's definitely all over. Defiance really, really desperately need this map to keep themselves in this. On board with Corrupt now. It does seem as if a kill has been traded between each team, and now Quicker Than You picked up 2, actually. Krads is going to pick up a kill as well. Corrupt is the last guy alive for TYT.
And Defiance, they tried something different there. You could see, just looking at the minimap in the top left-hand corner, that they all just pushed up very, very fast, hoping to catch TYT off guard, but TYT were prepared for them and do make those final kills. Quicker Than You in a brilliant vantage point there, could look over the whole map and is going to secure that round for his team, making it a 4-1 lead. Remember, this is a best-of-5 series, in the first map, Domination Strike Zone did go in TYT's favour, and this is the qualifying round to go into the leagues and get one step closer to heading towards LA.
Once again, we are going to jump on board with the attacking team. That is going to be TYT. On board with Quicker Than You, pushing down this right-hand side. MTAR in hand. Big rush coming up from him. Is he just going to jump up and try and be sneaky, or is he really going to push forward? He's pushed forward very good. Oh, no. Missed his jump just a little bit. That's going to land him in a little bit of trouble, but it could actually give him the upper hand.
Yeah, that could actually pay off for him. He does spot 2 in red, managed to pick up 1 and wisely turned around and distanced himself.
Well played.
Does go for the challenge. A very risky move, but it has paid off as 2 kills go down in his favour.
Yeah, picked up the 2-piece. Nicely played. Krads is just checking around that area. The bomb has not went down quite yet, and it does seem as if TYT are searching for another player at the back there.
Yeah, Krads is just making himself obscure, doesn't want to get scouted out by the enemy team, because remember, this is now a 3 versus 2 situation. If TYT can just exchange kills, then they will win this game.
But with Krads now, he's in a bit of a funny position, because if somebody comes along to his right-hand side, he's got no vision on him whatsoever. So he will definitely get wiped out, so he has to just pray nobody's going to come around that corner. On board with Benny Central now. Remington in hand. looking for a kill, but Krad's got shots going down towards the back, and Benny Central and Quicker, sorry, it's Insomulus are going to push forward, but there you go, the round is going to be won as Krad comes in with a kill. Yeah,
and again, very strategic and tactical play from TYT. I'm very, very impressed by this, actually. They're not just running in like headless chickens. They're playing this right. They're waiting for the right moments to strike. They're holding the correct positions. And as I've said time and time again, these are going to be a real dark horse in this overall tournament, I feel.
Yeah, they're a team that could potentially cause an upset, you know, especially S&D. They seem to be pretty competent. They really didn't. And the Domination, I mean, it's hard to say how they would do against the top 8 teams, so to speak, but we'll soon see.
Well, one thing I would say for TYT is if they can get that 2-cap, they hold it well, but it's going to come down to the fact if they can get that in the first place.
On board with Mackie now does get shut down by Benny Central, coming in there with a 2-piece as well. He's going to look for the third. He's going to get the third. Benny Central, is he going to clean it up here with the ace? Oh my god, I think that's it. He's just, oh, wow. Let's watch this kill cam. Was it Benny Central in the end?
Oh, it wasn't. It was quicker than you.
It looked like it was. Quicker than you. He's going to pick it up. I think he must have only put a couple of bullets in there.
Yeah, you can see it was actually just one bullet catching his leg. And wow, Benny Central. It's a shame we didn't actually catch the 3-piece on the cam there, but you know, there's 8 players in the game and we can't cast all of them at once. But what a convincing win. Benny Central 9-2, quicker than you 10-5. Both of these players, very similar situation to the Domination, really picking up, you know, raising the bar.
Yeah, they seem to be the guys that are putting up the main, sort of the clutch kills, the important kills, but putting up a lot of kills at the same time. Next map is going to be coming up very, very soon, but it's looking like TYT are going to advance on. We're going to go to a very, very quick break. We'll be back with the third and possibly the final map of today in just a minute.
till it's over. Till the world's out of sight, we will stand, we will fight. It's not over till it's over.
Hello and welcome back to the Gfinity Studios, where we are casting over the final game that will be streamed today of the UK and Ireland qualifiers, and therefore the final game of this actual UK and Ireland competition.
Yeah, we'll go straight in the league games on Monday, which is bound to be brilliant. Make sure you tune in to MLG TV, where we will definitely be streaming them. I think it is Gucci who's going to be commentating on that with the Gfinity squad as well. So Brycey and Trout will be involved also, and make sure you get on board with that. But tomorrow, of course, we have some more qualifiers coming up with the second Germany and France ones.
Yes, we do. So, as we've said before, guys, this is the final game that's going to be streamed, but it's also the deciding game as to which one of these teams will qualify into the league stage. As it currently stands, TYT are leading the race up against Defiance with a 2-0 lead, and this is a best-of-5 series, so this is potentially the last map that we could be seeing.
Yeah, on board with Crads now. 5-minute halves in Blitz. The idea is run to the enemy flag, get yourself in there. Nice headshot by Crads there straight away from the off there. Picking up Corrupt quicker than you, picking up a 2-piece straight away. Benny Central again, and we're just literally back to where we were here. You know, TYT playing very, very well.
Yeah, just absolutely destroyed them then, straight off the block, and have got themselves in a great position now. And don't forget, this doesn't just secure them 1 point, as we've seen there, but...
yeah, I was going to say, I did see that... they had the...
Respawn?
No.
Okay. Well,
the actual word has escaped my mind of what it is. You know when you go black? Like, I just can't...
Okay, so, well, for whatever reason, there has been a little bit of an error in the rules, so we're getting this restarted now. Going to be a bit frustrating for TYT as well after such a strong start. And
field orders were still on, that was it.
Field orders, that was it. The suitcase, yeah, of course.
I was thinking, I know what it is, but I've completely forgotten the name.
Now,
no, but it was the field orders, of course, is still on.
This could be very costly for TYT, obviously.
I don't think they're going to...
There's always hope. Defiance do have this slim chance, as slim as it may be. TYT were off to a good start then, in a great position, and had 1 point under the belt already.
Oh, they've actually left the game as well.
Interesting. So we're going to find out what is going on as quick as possible. But just to recap once more, currently 2-0 in this best-of-5 series between TYT and Defiance. The winner of this best-of-5 will advance into the league qualifiers, which begin on Monday. We'll have further information for you on that later. And yeah, so this is a really, really big round.
Yeah, it does seem as if Defiance may have actually tried to take that one. So, of course, this is what it's been ran through. The admin's in here as well. Technically, in the rules, they've forfeited.
The rules were wrong. So what we are going to do is go to a very quick break while we're just setting up the next round, or potentially replaying that one, depending on what's been decided. And we'll be back with you guys as soon as possible. Hello and welcome back. We are going straight into the action of round number 4 of this best of 5 after a little bit of controversy, yeah.
Yeah, it turns out the rules were wrong and Defiance have forfeited.
Well, they've taken it. Yeah, they've made them forfeit.
I mean, yeah, you know, you shouldn't get the rules wrong. I mean, it's...
Rules are rules, I guess.
I suppose so, but usually there's a gentleman's agreement to sort of just say, well, we'll just restart it, you know, but apparently not in this game, because there's a lot on the line. I would like to say that TYT are probably going to still go on to win it anyway, but here we go. Benny Central in control now with his... Remington does get shut down, though. Swarm coming in there, and if Defiance went on to win this now, I think they'd be up, probably.
Yeah, and wouldn't it be funny if field orders were left on here as well? That would be quite amusing. But nevertheless, we are still watching TYT, who are actually looking like they're going to go down if that B flag is secured. They are losing it, and it has been captured by Defiance, but the A flag's still neutral.
Yeah, interesting tactic, because they've got B now, but it's not really put them in a better position. If anything, you know, they are losing out because the enemy team does have C. So it's interesting, but if you go for that risk, you need to get B within the first 15 seconds, because or it's not worth it.
So you've got to have the confidence to do that. Now, whilst they did secure it for a very small amount of time, it wasn't enough to make any impact, and we can see now that TYT are on top, leading in points, do have 2 flags to their name, currently losing B, though.
Yeah, well, Defiance just didn't... The idea was good, but they didn't quite execute it as well as needed. They needed to push out there. They need to get it very, very quickly for it to benefit them. It hasn't, and they're currently 6 points down with a minute and a half gone.
Benny Central in a brilliant position here, covering Insomulus, who does secure that B flag, and Benny Central is just going to be able to lock down this position. He's right on those spawn shooting bottom motel, unable to pick up further kills as Corrupt does shut down Insomulus.
On board with Creds now pushing forwards towards A, trying to be aggressive. They are currently losing C, so they're going to try and swap this round. They will not mind a swap of spawns on this one. Currently Creds capturing A. It's looking like he's going to get it. You see, this is why we would like broadcasters, so we can tell.
Yes, we'd be able to have a better idea of it, but we are just currently on the spectating rules just to avoid that broadcaster glitch, which is currently being fixed, the known bug that we are aware of with the COD Esports rules.
I think it was, it's been commented saying it's going to be fixed by next week.
Yeah, so we will be on top of that in the later stages of this tournament. Regardless, though, back onto this game, it is still 2 flags in the hands of TYT, who are walking away with this. I mean, it won't surprise me if we see them storming away on kills as well. A little bit more balanced, I suppose, this game.
Yeah, it's one of those maps where, you know, you can trade kills off quite easily. There's a lot of positions people take up. There's a lot of advantageous positions for people to take up as well. So, you know, it's one of them ones where people can get a few kills. Not necessarily reflecting the game, though, as it is currently an 18-point lead for TYT, and it seems as if they are just absolutely locking Defiance in their C spawn. Now they're pushed very high up. And Benny's going to set himself up and watch gas. Yeah,
they did actually get a 4-piece there and shut down all of Defiance. We could see Benny actually trying to lock down those spawns. You do get the impression here that Fearcrads is certainly the objective player as the team, as he just keeps charging between the A and C flag, trying to capture them, while we see the likes of Benny Central maybe just holding middle map with an AR.
Yeah, well, Krads is now just going to push down this left-hand side. Worked that quite well. They noticed they'd been swapped spawns, and they were losing it. Jump down C. And it just resumes itself. Krad's going in there with the kill on the B, and a couple of his teammates have actually went down. Insomulus is going to clean up onto Corrupt, though. Krad's going in there. Nelly picked up another kill that does get shut down by Swid.
Yeah, Krad's just constantly running around. Very, very aggressive play when you match up to the likes of Benny Central, who both of these team members, don't get me wrong, they're doing their part and they're doing it very well, but they're so different in the play style.
Well, with Benny Central now, makes him another kill into B, and they're just holding it down very, very nicely here. Defiance are trying to make a game out of it. Not getting many kills, though. Benny Central so aware of his positioning here, playing very, very well. Is he going to get his third as well? He does get shut down by Swid. A little bit wobbly there, unfortunately. He nearly picked up the 3, but unfortunate for him, he has actually played very, very well through this match.
Well, Insomulus getting shut down there, top broken. A great position to actually defend B and overlook the map, but very, very obvious, and you are extremely exposed when up there. Do want to give Quicker Than You a little bit of coverage, because he has been standing out for me as well as one of the other objective players. Maybe not as much as the likes of Fearcrads, but he himself is certainly going for these A and C flags.
Yeah, if anything, Quicker Than You and Benny Central will probably be the best 2 players from this match, what we've seen anyway from TYT. Krads has put in a shift as well as Insomulus. So on with Benny Central now does actually get shut down. Let's go on, but let's stay within some of this. We haven't really given much coverage yet. On with him with the round in. Nice easy kill for him on the swarm, and it looks like he's going to capture B, but they have actually lost A and C as well. And it does seem as if they're jumping on A, and then Somulus has some defending to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting map, Octane Domination, because this B flag, it's a central point, but you are so exposed from pretty much every single angle. So whether you capture B flag or not is pretty much up to your teammates and whether they're able to lock that down.
Well, that's a pretty hefty victory going into the second half there. In total, that is going to be 36 points, so pretty much similar to what they had last time.
Yeah, almost identical. It was a 35-point lead they had on the previous Domination, 36 points on this, and as we've discussed before, that is 1 full minute of 3 cap, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Defiance to get back into this. I kind of get the feeling that TYT were almost happy to go onto this 4th map and just accepted the forfeit for getting the rules incorrect on
the
Blitz.
You know, at the end of the day, they did get them incorrect. So it's one of them things where you tend to see, like in tournaments, you would say, you know, it's restarted, don't worry about it. But when this is on the line, you know, the teams don't know each other essentially, and they may not get along for all we know. And you know, Defiance, they're going to pick at straws. They need everything they can get.
They really do.
At the minute, no offense to them, but they are the lesser team at the moment within this matchup.
Certainly. And
yeah, they took the map. It's not looking like they're going to take another one.
No.
So I would imagine this is going to end up 3-1 to TYT.
Well, that 36-point difference is going to be very hard for Defiance to come back from. TYT just need to hold on to it, and it's going to be interesting watching how TYT play this, even though we will be spectating Defiance, simply because I'm interested to see whether they'll actually go for a more defensive strategy, whether they'll just kind of hold A and B and not push for C at all, which is what Fearcrads was repeatedly doing on that previous game, or whether they will just completely dominate the other team and really just push out and overextend themselves. It's risky, but it would be very satisfying for them, I'm sure.
Well, here we go. Oh, map's not going to start up yet. We are going to... Oh, lost connection to host and server.
Okay, so while we are getting this game restarted, again, just going to very quickly recap what's been happening in this tournament so far. Obviously, we've been watching quite a few games today, but this is the final game that will be streamed today in this best of 5 series. It is currently 2-1 in favour of TYT. The only round that they've lost has been a disqualification due to the briefcases. The word has just completely gone from my head.
Field orders.
Field orders being dropped. You know, the rules were wrong. They've accepted that and gone on to round 4, and they're comfortably in the lead by 36 points.
Well, we have an invite once again. I'm just trying to get us back into the game. Not too sure what happened there, really, but I'd imagine we're going to start that half again because no player actually went down.
So all these players, once again, just getting into this lobby and getting ready and set up. So Octane Domination, I mean, just talking about the mapping game type a little bit more there. It's one of those, it's the Domination map where we see a lot more Remington use, I suppose you could say, as opposed to the MTAR.
It's not such a kill-heavy map as we've seen on the first map.
It's more locking down these spawn traps, the alleyways.
Getting yourself set up.
Yeah, we saw TCM the previous weekend, Moose going massive. I actually tweeted this out before. Of all the people that I've seen in the EU scene so far, I'd probably say Moose is the standout player for me on TCM.
Yeah, and if you looked at Black Ops 2, yeah, Moose was a good player, very good player, but you wouldn't have said coming into Ghost, I think he's going to be one of the best players on the game. For me, it's a toss-up between him, Gunshi, from what I've seen, Tommy. You know, I think Swanee's very good at this game as well. Mad Cat. For me, someone who dropped off a little bit is Jared.
What's interesting about every single player you mentioned there, it's Epsilon and TCM. You know, all these best players in the EU scene just filter into these two teams, and that's why a lot of people are recognising these guys as our best shots. I say our, as in Europeans' best shots at achieving something at the Call of Duty Championship should they qualify.
Now, would you agree with my point on Jared? Do you feel if he's dropped off a little bit? I can only say from what I've seen.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like maybe he's just had a bad event when I've watched him. But
I would say Jared is still solidly one of the best players in Europe on this game. But whether he stands out as much as he did on Black Ops 2, I'm not quite sure.
Stood out a lot.
Yeah, well, this is exactly it, because Jord was, in my opinion, up there with Mad Cat as the best Black Ops 2 player in Europe. And I think, you know, the game has changed. It's different guns. You've got to adapt a different style of play. And don't get me wrong, Jord is a phenomenal player.
Oh, yeah.
But there's other people who are making the mark now very early on.
Yeah, you know what's strange? I think there's more players on this game that can contest for the best player, but there isn't as many teams contesting, I feel. It tended to be, there was quite a lot in the EU where they were battle away at each other. Epsilon seemed to pip it each time. the NA, it was definitely complexity, but there was always teams there. This one, it seems, you know, there's not as the top 8 are set. It used to be sort of a top 16 bracket of good teams where anyone could potentially be anyone, but it always seems to end up with Epsilon. But this one, there seems to be not as many top teams.
Definitely, and I mean, one thing I would say, of course, we've got to take into consideration the fact this is just UK and Ireland, but with that said, the best players are now all teaming with each other. Sometimes you would have an amazing player on one team and, you know, the rest were okay, but the best players are all teaming up now and leaving all the other teams far, far behind in the dirt. But regardless, we're just going to get straight back into this game now as it is starting up. This is round 4 of the best of 5 series between TYT and Defiance, and we do have an update as to the teams qualified so far as well, Tony.
Yeah, DB Gaming, We Go in LA, Different Gravy have all qualified for the league, so congratulations to them. They'll be fighting out in the league for a place at the European Championships, which is fighting out for a place in LA at the World Championships to compete for that $1 million prize pool. Of course, first place taking home, was it 600,000?
400, I think.
Oh, was it 400,000?
200 to second place. Even if you get runner-up at the tournament, $200,000. Incredible amount of money.
Decent.
Yep, I'm sure I'd be happy with that. Wouldn't mind that at all. But you know, I think it's for a lot of the players. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're very happy with that pay packet. But the recognition of being the best team in the world is, you know, not only an amazing feeling, but it opens up so many more opportunities in the future as well.
Go with Mackie now, and he's just trying to push around towards A. Trying to lock this down with the MTAR, and you know they really do need to be aggressive here. What was the difference? It was 36 in the end. And there you go. He's done quite well to hold this down as well. And it looks like he's going to capture A here for his team. And he does so. So well played by him. He needs to stay alive. Shots are being fired onto him. Needs to stay around this area. Well played by Mackie here. Really showing what he's worth. Showing that these past few maps may not being a true representation of how we play, because we haven't seen great play from Defiance so far.
Not at all. I mean, looking at the game so far, you could see that Defiance actually split onto the A and C flag, and the problem with doing this is when B falls in control of the other team, it's inevitable that A and C are going to fall at some point because they're at opposing sides of the map.
On board with Corrupt now. For a kill towards the apartment. Shots going in, not land a single one, unfortunately. And it does seem as if they're going to lose A if they don't go back to defend it. They're currently running in the middle of the map and just getting taken down. It's Somulus making up a kill there. It does seem as if Mackie has gotten away and he's trying to push for C. It seems that they're trying to push the home flags a lot, and it doesn't seem to be doing much work.
Well, surprise, surprise here. It is TYT that are completely outslaying Defiance. We can just see from the scoreboard now, every single member of TYT at least double positive. They are ahead on points, following on from their previous victory of 36 points in the first half of this Domination. If they are to win this side of Domination, it's going to be the end of the stream for today, and it will mean TYT advance into the league stages, solidifying their place as a top 16 UK and Ireland team. And they're wanting to do that in fashion, but Defiance are not going down without a fight as Swarm does push for this B flag.
Yes, on ball with Swarm now. He has managed to get inside there. Oh, nice, good turnaround there. Did very, very well. Picked up Benny Sandra. They're going to pick up B. They really do need to go for the triple cap here, though, or they are going to go down. They need to do it very quickly, establish a lead, then hold up. I can't see it happening, though. I think, you know, TYT have been far too strong for them the whole series, and I'd imagine they're going to work out pretty comfortably with this one.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they have no choice, because if they were to hold a 2 cap for the whole game, they would have had to have done it for 3 minutes when they were tying to actually take it. So they have to actually go for the 3 cap. If they don't secure the 3 flags, they haven't got a chance of winning this Domination game.
Well, it turns out they need around 13 points, well, they have 14 points on this map, on this half, sorry, and 35 on the other one. So that's a full minute already, and then about half a minute of the triple cap. So they need to do it within the next 30 seconds, or they are dropping out of the tournament, and they will definitely not be going to LA.
Well, they did temporarily actually hold a 3 cap there, and it is still currently in their favour, but the A flag is being lost to TYT, who will no doubt reclaim that very shortly. Has gone to neutral, so it's not over just yet for this team. There is still this little bit of hope for them, but they've got to act fast. Here we go.
We're on board with Mackie now. Shots going down. Doesn't actually manage to get the kill. Is he going to pick it up? And it does seem as if he actually has a well play. We are going to go on board with TYT, and we're on board with Benny Central here now, as it does seem as if TYT are controlling this game. Just trying to ride it out. They currently have a 2 cap.
And Benny Central, he just seems to be that guy that aims for map control whilst he lets loose the rest of his team. He's making sure that his teammates are getting the best spawns, and he's making sure that he's preventing the other team from advancing on the home flags. Does get shut down, though, as we switch on to Faircrads.
Oh, the crowds, as said, MTAR in hand, pushing up top just to try and cover from here. Oh, did he actually manage to get the kill there?
Just ran through his body.
Yeah, killed McKay there and ran through his body. Does get taken down though by Swarm and Suede, who are controlling very well. And it does seem as if Defiance have picked up the 2 cap as well. But at this moment in time, it is pretty irrelevant as they're about to go down to TYT, who are going to solidify their place in the league.
Yeah, and it's you know, they've done really well here, I've got to say. I've only actually seen them play this full best of 5 series myself, and I've not really seen too much of them in the competitive scene in terms of spectating.
They've getting better from what I've seen at I-Series, and when I first commentated on them, you know, they were doing okay in the smaller tournaments, you know, and they were doing alright and usually getting to the final of the ones where the main top 8 teams weren't really playing in. So, you know, they're a contender for one of the top 12 spots, I would say. So, you know, keep going at it, boys. You know, you need to see what happens at the actual events. Online isn't necessarily always a fair sort of representation. Thank you. Where there really would be a land, but there you go. They're going to take away the win for this one. 89 to 64. That's going to be a 25-point difference on that one, plus a 35-point difference on the other one. That's a 60-point difference overall, and well played to them.
Yeah, so they've done really well there, and they will advance into the leagues from now. And it's going to be a good feeling for them. I think if they'd have ended up losing that best of 5 series and known full well that it was due to those field orders being on that got them disqualified, that would have been unbelievably frustrating.
Oh, yeah, that's happened to me in GB before back in the day. You know, when you get rules wrong 2 games
horrible.
in a row and a best out of 3 against the top team who you always go up against and beat, it's just the worst.
NWL back in the day. The glory days.
The glory days,
but,
Domination C4,
Oh, yes, Vantage Point, that's the one.
Yeah,
but
I played Hardcore S&D, let's not talk about that.
So, but that is going to be the end of the second leg of the UK and Ireland European qualifiers here at Gfinity. We've had a great time casting over these, and we're going to be bringing you the top teams now going against each other in the leagues moving forward every Monday, I believe. So keep an eye out for those. Tomorrow it's going to be the French and German streams.
Yeah, the French and German streams is going to be a good one as well, but I'm really looking forward to the leagues. You know, I think that's where the main competition is going to be coming up, and it's all going to be broadcast on MLJ.TV. So make sure you watch that. And I've enjoyed commentating with you this weekend. You know, because
it's been a while.
It doesn't happen a lot now, does it? It used to be every day.
You know, and it's been one of them things. Pretty much every event that we actually attend, we are scheduled to cast at some point, but there's some reason someone has to go, so they have to rearrange the casting schedule, and we just never get a chance to do it. So it has been good reuniting since the original Deserto Live days.
Where the original